Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where today I bring you a very, very special replay because this is the game in which I foremarked the BMP1. Now, foremarking in itself is very special, but what's interesting about this is I saw that my percentage was at 99.8 when I did the how to play the BMP1, the back on track video that I did fairly recently, which is about how to play the BMP1 with the new minimum arm distance changes that we've had to ATGMs. I saw that it was at 99.8. I've had the BMP2 at 99.67, so having a vehicle up this high isn't the first for me, but I've never really been able to push it to the 100% point. I just couldn't do it. And historically, for those that have been watching my channel and my live streams for a long time, you'll know that I have said on many occasions I'm not bothered by the gold mark because it's just too difficult, it's just too stressful, and quite frankly, the game can be stressful enough as it is, and I'm not interested in making the game experience any worse than it has to be. So for a very long time, I thought, I'm just not going to bother. But when I made the BMP1 video, I saw it was 99.8, and I thought, well, I'll try. I'll give it a try. So a week or so ago, I sat down and I thought, right, I'm just going to play the BMP1 and I'm going to see how I do. I'm just going to see if I can do it. Now, from what you're seeing right now, that first ATGM of this game, you're probably thinking, how on earth have you foremarked it when you're playing like that? And I will admit, when I saw that shot go out, what happened was I aimed, but then I traversed the hull, so the turret flew off aim and the ATGM went wild. I honestly, I thought, oh, I'm not going to do it. And I was at the time, I was willing to accept I'm not going to do it, because in my head, for a very long time, I'd always just accepted, yeah, I'm never going to foremark something. I'm just not. It's not on the cards for me. I'm not that bothered by it. I'm driving terribly. This isn't. I wasn't phased by it. I was just like, okay, I'll accept that I'm never going to do it. I'm just going to play the game to enjoy it as much as I can. So the result here it was a pleasant surprise, because in my head again, I just wasn't thinking it was a thing that could be done. And I wasn't pushing that hard for it either. Normally when you're really trying to achieve something and you're really pushing hard and you get it, it's like, ah, yes, I've done it. But this time was like, oh, okay, I did it. So at the moment we're 2,500 damage, 1,000 assist. I'm not actually sure what the benchmark for the foremark actually is. I'm given subsequent games where I've done as little as 3,000 combined, 4,000 combined, and I'm still at 100%. I'm assuming that's the benchmark, 3,500, 4,000. I could be wrong, but at the moment we're not quite there. Now we're there. So, and I didn't know that at the time. I knew absolutely nothing about the requirements for foremarking this thing. That's how little I was into foremarking these, the BMP1 specifically. I've looked up other vehicles like the BMP2 because I'm, oh yeah, what is it? Oh, I'm interested in, back in the day it was the Armadillo. I almost three-marked that, and the BMP2 is a favourite of mine. Like, oh, what do I need to do? What numbers am I trying? I've looked all this stuff up before for other tanks, but this was legitimately, I knew absolutely nothing, and I still know absolutely nothing. So if you guys know what the value is, then by all means let others know. But I'm guessing it's around 3,000, 4,000. So here we are. It's 2 versus 4. My teammate is still down by their cap, and I am making the assumption that they would be going for our cap because they don't want to chase two lights around the map. And I know one of them just there, T72, and I know there's an F. I thought there was an FV in this game. Might be getting confused with something else. Maybe it is an FV. Was that a T72 or an FV? I think it was an FV. I don't know where I got T72 from, but anyway. One other thing I wanted to mention in this video specifically that's not really related to... Well, I suppose it is related to the foremarking and the marking and all that. Centurion 9, we'll be seeing more of him later, and he actually ties into exactly what I'm about to talk about. RNG. This game is heavily dependent on RNG. And for me, I'm not very good at recognizing when I've achieved something. Those that know me well will know that when I got my civil engineering degree, I was like, okay. And everyone around me was like, way! I'm like, okay. I'm not very good at recognizing my achievements. And RNG is one of those things that I think takes away slightly from the skill. And that right there is what I mean. That shot right there is what I mean. So, the ammo rack of the Centurion 9, if you're facing it like I was, is the lower right-hand plate. That's where I impacted. But there have been times before where I've impacted there and not ammo racked. And we've all experienced this. We've all been there where you can do the same thing multiple times and get different results. You can put 4 shots into a tank, get them down to a 1 shot, you do exactly the same thing again, and it bounces. RNG. Was that ammo rack me? Or was that RNG? Was that my skill? Or was that the game just saying, we'll hand it to you this time? That's what annoys me so much about this game. And I don't know if it's possible. It was a 4-11. There we go. It would be nice if this game... It would be nice if the RNG in this game were dialed back a bit. I think at the moment... Is it plus or minus 20%, 25% on damage rolls? Something like that. I would really like to see this be a little bit more consistent. I know we've had the loaded dice events, which I really like personally, because it basically removed RNG from the game. To an extent. I mean, you still have the aim reticle with RNG. But it meant that the alpha was consistent. If your alpha was 500, you always did 500. If your pen was 420, you always did 420. I quite like that, because the RNG is one of those grey areas that can get on people's nerves. And I've never really contemplated the true effect of this until I achieved the highest achievement you can get in the game, which is the 4 mark. And I thought, well, maybe this is me being hard on myself and not recognizing my achievement, but at the same time, I don't want to just be like, oh yeah, I'm amazing. I'm thinking, well, how much of this is me and how much of this is the game just saying yes? Because I've had the game say no so many times before. I find it to be, because it's a grey area, it's like, it's not like I can go, yes, I did that. I 100% did that. It's more like I did some of it and the game did some of it. And is that what we want? Is that really what we want? When it comes down to player versus player, you can have the smarts to outplay people. You know, you can have the smarts to outplay people with vehicle positioning, but you can outplay someone with your vehicle positioning, and then you can pull the trigger and RNG just gives you the middle finger. So I would love to see the game have its RNG dialed down, reeled in, and I'm going to say not balanced, just reeled in so that we can have more player on player, skill on skill interactions. Now this game is a defeat because I am faced with the two toughest vehicles in Era 2, a full health 4-11 and a basically full health Begleitpanzer, who absolutely wrecked me at the end. But close defeat. I don't feature on the scoreboard at all. Fine, no problems. Begleitpanzer 8 kills, that's decent. 8,298 damage with 1,000 assists, so we're 700 and something under 10k combined. But there is the 4th mark. There it is. So there you go, guys. That was the game in which I 4-marked my very first tank, the BMP-1. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave it a like, if not a dislike. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one.